States has 5 days to complete evacuations from Afghanistan. To date, more than 82,000 Afghan refugees have been 8,200 have been airlifted out of the country.
Food and shelter are in high demand for these families who were forced to flee with little to nothing. Well, now companies are stepping up to lend a helping hand, and this morning we are joined by one of them. Christopher Nulty, I should say, is with Airbnb, which committed to housing some 20,000 refugees, and he joins us this morning to explain how this is all going to work. Good morning, Chris. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks so much for having me.
I think a lot of people want to commend Airbnb for being one of the first companies to actually come forward, step up, and respond to this crisis. What prompted that?
You know, actually, for the last 4 years, we've been working with the International Rescue Committee, with Church World Service, and with a number of other refugee resettlement organizations to provide temporary housing for refugees. Over the last 4 years, we've housed about 25,000 refugees as they've come to the United States and started to get resettled. And we've now committed to housing 20,000 Afghan refugees as they make their way to the United States. And we feel really, really lucky to have such great partners who help lead this work and are really just doing incredible stuff right now and making it possible for families to have a safe landing.
Absolutely.
So I guess what will it take then, right? Because it's a lot, 20,000 refugees. Have you already begun placing families? And if so, where? Where are they going?
Yeah, so I mean, we've been placing families since last Friday. This last weekend alone, about 200 families were placed into housing. Our teams have been working around the clock over the last couple of days to place even more. We've placed them in Sacramento, in Cleveland, in Chicago, in Washington, D.C., in Seattle, in New York, across upstate New York. And we know that this is just the first wave, and that there are many more to come, and we're just ready to do whatever is needed to support our partner organizations who are on the front lines of this work.
I really got to commend you, because my family and I, we came to this country escaping Saigon when the communists took over, that being Vietnam. And we went to Camp Pendleton, which was an air base, stood in tents, lived in tents there for many, many weeks. But these families have the ability now to go to a home. And I got to tell you, that's got to be such a sense of comfort for them, especially after what they've been through. How are you able to afford this? And how does it work with the people that own these homes?
Yeah, so it's incredible to hear these stories and to know that there's such a legacy of this country welcoming people from around the world to just begin a new life here. And we're funding this through a couple different ways. One, from Airbnb, from Airbnb.org, which is our charitable organization. We also, earlier this year, raised a $25 million refugee fund, all of which is contributing to this. And today, we, over the last 48 hours, heard from so many of our hosts who said, I'd like to actually volunteer my space for free. And what we're really excited about is that that's actually going to allow us to go above and beyond that 20,000 person commitment. But really what happens here is as these organizations, International Rescue Committee and Church World Service, identify families that need a place to stay, they're the ones who are actually booking the stays on our platform. We're paying for them, but the folks at these agencies who are working directly with these families are the ones who are actually booking the reservations themselves.
Right. So
communicating with the hosts. Yeah. Sorry.
To be clear, the hosts they're not getting paid, right? So it's all a volunteer basis.
No. So we're paying for 20,000 refugees for their temporary housing. But over the last 48 hours, we've heard from so many of our hosts who have said, we'd actually like to do this for free.
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
Which is going to allow us to go above and beyond that 20,000, which is just, what's so interesting is we've heard from so many refugees and from veterans themselves who just reached out and said, this really means something to me. This matters to me. I would like to open up my home. How can I help? And our internal teams have been overwhelmed in the best way possible, trying to, accommodate and make sure that, if someone has some extra space, that we can hopefully, help use it and leverage it.
Got a lot of the generosity of Americans, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So can organizations helping the refugees contact Airbnb about this program? If so, how do they go about doing this?
Yeah, I mean, we are really fortunate that we have, because we've been doing this for the last 4 or 5 years, we have some pretty great relationships with most of the large organizations in the resettlement space. But certainly, any organization who's working to resettle refugees, is free to reach out. But again, we just feel so fortunate to have more than a dozen partners who do this work all the time, not just at this moment. Who have these longstanding relations with the State Department, and who we feel fortunate to work with. and who are really the ones that deserve the praise because they're just doing incredible work right now.
Yes, absolutely. Life-changing work for these families. Chris, thank you for what you're doing, and thanks for joining us today.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.